Welcome back to Turn the Antenna, everyone. Today, we are going to be breaking down episode 6, season 2 of Interview with the Vampire. We're back in Dubai at the sushi bar with Daniel and Rashid, the latter now charged with chaperone duties of the former. Rashid excuses himself, and Reglan James of the Talamasca makes his reappearance. Daniel has requested an audience with Agent James to discuss a barter, espionage for the Talamasca in exchange for protection and the publishing of his book about the life of the vampire Louis. During this scene, we also find out that Rashid is an undercover Talamasca agent. Rashid had us all fooled. He seemed so loyal to Armand. Or maybe he was a double agent and Armand got into his head. Armand is literally in control of everything. I just don't believe it. There's no way Rashid is in that house and Armand hasn't delved into the innermost corners of Rashid's mind. The 500-year-old vampire that has seen everything, that's experienced everything. There's no way that you can get me to believe that he does not do a mind sweep every morning and every night. He is way too cunning and way too manipulative not to. I don't think that Daniel just wants to be a spy for the Talamasca. I think that, yes, he wants his book published. Yes, he wants protection, but he also wants the trove of information that they have of Louis and Armand, and he wants to gain access to that. Daniel and Rashid return to the penthouse, and the interview continues. We revert to the Théâtre des Vampires in Paris. The entire coven is aware of the actions of Louis and Claudia in New Orleans before they arrived in Paris. They gather intel to better orchestrate the execution of Claudia and Louis. Louis recollects the attempted assault of Meline that resulted in Claudia having to expose her true nature while saving Meline. I wish that we had been privy to that immediate conversation between Meline and Claudia after she cleaned up the bodies. The confusion that Meline must have been feeling, the fear and the coming to terms. I would have loved to have seen that. Claudia and Meline are getting better acquainted. Claudia expresses her desire to make Meline her companion and implores Armand to make Meline a vampire. I must say that Meline handled herself well during Armand's line of questions. Confident, unwavering, and sincere in her affections for Claudia. But even with all of that, Armand still refused because he detests the idea of creating a vampire. So, left with no option, Louis converts Meline himself. He wants to give this gift to Claudia. The thing about Armand, right? You know I'm going to rant once I say the thing about... The thing about Armand, Louis is like, you don't want to change her. You don't want to turn her. I'm going to turn her. Cool. But I want you to come and watch. And he's like, are you telling me or are you making me? And it's met this and met that. Mind you, when he first said it, it was sexy. But now I'm realizing that it is a tool to manipulate Louis. He gives Louis the false sense of control, the illusion of dominance. Like Daniel said, Louis is met in the bedroom, not outside of it. I remember the actor that plays Armand, he had said, in regards to this character, when one lie is unraveling, he's already spinning the other lie. And the thing about Louis, he's so confident in this control, this false control that he has. He's sitting there telling Claudia, he's going to say yes. He's going to say yes. Like, Louis, wake up and smell the AB negative. Like, wake up, dude. After Meline is turned, Armand appears at Louis' apartment, bag packed, and a story of leaving the coven. The present day exchange between Daniel, Louis, and Armand is rather interesting. Louis and Armand, the toxic lovers, and Daniel, the supportive friend that scoffs and confronts the offending party. I love the dynamic. I love it. The penultimate scene of the retelling started so beautifully. The jazz club and its laid back and dreamy atmosphere. Friends exchanging humor while catching up. 3 things about this scene. Firstly, Meline makes a stunning vampire. Secondly, they age Claudia slightly, and I loved the air of maturity that she now has. The visual of the two is no longer a woman and a child. With the subtle changes made, they seem more on par. Lastly, why come back to Paris? I know it's supposed to be a few months later, but I would have given it at least a decade. The consistent lack of foresight and preparedness on Claudia and Louis' part is baffling. Nonetheless, I found myself engrossed in the quartet's jovial exchange, the playful teasing of Armand by Louis, and the lightheartedness of it all. I laughed, I smiled, and then was rendered shocked and speechless by Armand's betrayal in what can only be described as the Judas moment of all Judas moments. Armand kisses Louis on the cheek, extracts himself from the Last Supper, freezes time, and grants the coven access to Louis, Claudia, and Meline. Listen, I'm still in shock. And I don't know why, because I knew it was going to happen. But my goodness, man, Armand. Wow. It's supposed to be to spare Louis' life. But geez, my goodness, that's some cold stuff. Poor Meline, poor Claudia. There is no way I would have been able to trust Armand if I were Louis after a situation like that. The trust would have been gone after seeing him laugh up in Claudia and Medeline's face, and then to turn around and betray them in that manner. No way. Everything he would have told me from that moment on, I would have questioned. Sorry, but I couldn't do it. I would have told him, I said, I understand what you had to do and everything, but I just cannot trust you. I can't. The final scene is that of the trio battered on stage in a theatrical trial while Monsieur Lastat de lit encore awaits backstage in the green room. Y'all, listen, Lestat is horrible. Lestat is problematic. Lestat is toxic. Name a character flaw and Lestat has it. But the fandom really likes this character. And honestly, at times, I feel horrible for wanting to see the character. I feel horrible for wanting the character to engage with Louis, knowing what he's put Louis through. I hate it, But these writers, that's who I'm blaming. Not the good looks, not the suave, none of that. The writers, they are to blame, but I know everybody's happy to see Lestat again. But yeah, so Lestat is in the green room waiting to, I guess, testify on his behalf in this theatrical trial that Santiago and his little cronies have orchestrated. And it is going to be great. So that was episode 6. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will speak to you all in a few days.